Hey guys, welcome to PES Insider Gaming Hub. Alright, today Konami released a statement about the details of PES 2020. So let's get down to this video and see one or two things in it. Okay, first thing is, in PES 2020, your coins and your GP, everything carries over. So there is no cause for alarm, guys. There's no cause for alarm. Okay guys, another thing is, some of you are using teams, jerseys from other leagues around the world. So in PES 2020, if those clubs are not available, what happens is that you have the option of changing to another team and you have a new jersey, new emblem and a new logo. So guys, there is no cause for alarm. Just get ready. When PES 2020 comes up, get ready for a lot of changes. So as you can see, Konami has given us the announcement and we should be ready for anything right now. So now let us go to the next point. Okay, now guys, let us talk about carryover players. Now you guys can still remember that in PES 19 we had three categories of players. We had the base players, the featured players and legend players. Now in PES 20, a new category of players will be coming up, and this category of players are actually players from 2019, the ones you currently have in your squad. So when PES 2020 mobile update goes live, when it is launched in October, what happens is that all the base players you have, all the featured players you have right now in PES 2019 will automatically be converted to carryover players. Now they would have a card, their player card will be called carryover players. Their skill, their position, their appearance and everything will be the same as the base players of 2020 that will be coming up. The only difference will be that they will be called carryover players, and I'll explain something shortly. Okay, now carryover players would have some differences with other player categories in certain ways. Now, one of them is that carryover players, when you release them, you have more GP when you release them compared to other players. Now, carryover players also, their condition rating would be set at C, which means they would not be affected by live updates. So when live update comes up, their conditioning would not change. It will be set at C, and you guys know that would not really be nice. So another thing is, Konami is looking at bringing in some online events that would be affected by the kind of players that play. So carryover players will not be used in certain online events, and they will not be able to get some bonuses in some other type of online event. So guys, the players you have right now, featured and base players, are definitely going to be carryover players in PES 2020. Now guys, talking about the base players you currently have in PES 2019, when PES 2020 goes live, what happens is that each of these base players, their details are updated, their player data, they are updated, their pictures, their tactics, their playing positions are all updated. Now that is only if the player is also available in PES 2020. That's what happens, but the player still remains a carryover player. But if the player is no longer available in PES 2020, what happens is that an exchange is given to you. A player of the same rarity is given to you. If it is a gold player, they give you a gold player in exchange. If it is a black ball player, they give you a black ball player in exchange. Now the exchange, what happens in the exchange is that the player given to you is a normal base player in PES 2020. That one is not a carryover player, but a player that comes from 2019 to 2020 remains a carryover player. So guys, I just want you to understand that, and they give you what they want. Konami gives you this player, you don't choose the player you want. Konami gives this to you. Okay, now guys, talking about featured players. Now the featured players that you have in PES 2019, if they are included in PES 2020, their data will be updated and automatically converted to a carryover player. I already explained carryover players earlier. So guys, you should know this. Their data is updated, their skills, position, their abilities, their tactics and everything, is updated once PES 2020 is released. But if the featured player is not included in PES 2020, it will be exchanged for a random base player of the same rarity. That's whether it's black or a gold or a silver or whatever, be exchanged. Now the player that will be given to you will be a base player of PES 2020, not a carryover player. So guys, please take note of that. It is very important. Okay, talking about legend players, guys. Now some legend players will still be available in PES 2020. So what happens is, if their player data is updated, those updates will be affected in PES 2020. But for the legends that wouldn't be available in PES 2020, what happens is this: a player will be exchanged and given to you of the same rarity, whether it's gold or black, and that player will be a base player, not a legend player, guys. Take note of that also. Now guys, here's one huge change about player ratings in PES 20. Now guys, I want you to understand something, that when you get a player in PES 2019, what happens is you have to train that player from level 1 to level 30, then from 30 and above. Now the thing is this: in PES 20, the total rating of a player from 1 to 30 is regarded as level 1. So in PES 20, your level 1 player would have a rating that he's supposed to have at level 30 normally, as you used to have it in PES 2019. So that is a huge change for us, you guys. So I want you guys to know that that's how it works. So as you can see, guys, looking at the image, you see 1 to 30, that is the level 1 for PES 2020. Then you have to take the player again to his max level. So we'll be having the players that way in PES 20. So guys, this information is really important for you to understand how PES 2020 is going to be ahead. Now about carryover players that we obtained in PES 19. Now for those who have gotten up to level 31, what happens is that they get maxed out in PES 2020, but those below would stay at level 30. So guys, take note of that. It's very important. Then another thing is about the non-carryover players. Now what happens is that there is an exchange if the player is not available in PES 20 and the player is set to max. Whether the previous one was maxed out or not, the player is set to max the new one that is given to you. But lastly, guys, I'm going to talk about managers. Now for some of us, we have duplicate managers in PES 2019 with different formations and tactics. Now if you have just one manager, what happens is if the manager is still included in PES 20, that manager remains, but his rating is set to his original. So if you've taken him up to 900 or 990, what happens is it goes back to his original rating. Now if that manager is not included, they give you the option of choosing another manager of your choice. Then also, if you have duplicates, that is two managers, what happens is that if the manager is still included in PES 2020, they give you one of that same manager back to his base level and an extra option to choose a manager of your choice. But if the manager is not included, they give you the option of choosing the number of managers of that same manager that you have. So if it is 2, you can choose 2 different managers. If it is 3, you can choose 3 different managers. So guys, that is all for managers. So talking about scouts, talking about your GP, talking about your coins, and talking about player contract tickets and all that you have, including position boosts, player skills, and the rest, all of them would be taken over to PES 2020 without any change. And I'll be dropping another video tomorrow, guys. Now that we've gotten this information, we need to know something about tips for preparing for PES 2020. Konami has given us valuable information, so now it's about being wise and getting set for 2020 Pro Evolution Soccer Mobile. Sincerely, I am elated, I'm excited, I'm ready for the next level in PES. So thank you guys for watching. I want to say you guys have really been awesome. See you guys in the next